Hey, what's going on everybody, Drakeep here, and welcome back to another What If. This What If is called, it's obviously called, What If Deku was Genji. Now, before I go on, let me make one thing clear. Here, Izuku has a dormant quirk, meaning that it hasn't activated when he was 4 or 5 like everyone else. And if this video gets to 10 likes by the end of the month, I will continue it. But with that out of the way, let's get straight into it. Now it starts off when Izuku gets attacked by the sludge villain. Izuku is covered in the sludge villain, with the sludge villain trying to suffocate Izuku. And Bakugo was walking around and he sees the sludge villain trying to kill Izuku. Without thinking, Bakugo rushes away to find the pro hero. But in Izuku's eyes, Bakugo wasn't running away to get a hero. He was running away from the crime scene. This infuriated Izuku, filled him with rage, and then at that exact moment, his quirk finally activated. He grew light green, and as soon as he did, the sludge villain went everywhere. Izuku turned back to his normal self, and instead of staying there, he wanted to stay there, but Izuku thought to himself, no, I can't stay here. Besides, a person who I admired the most just left me there to die. To think that I thought that this guy was gonna be a good hero. He ran off away from the covering that he was in. I'll look at that later. But anyways, Bakugo finally found All Might and rushed him over to where Sludge Villain and Izuku were, only to find the sludge villain everywhere, but the only traces of Izuku. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. My family was just getting into another argument. But let's continue. the only thing that was left of Izuku in the crime scene was his backpack. The police surely then arrived at the scene, and they just assumed that Izuku was dead. Izuku eventually found a hiding spot. A house that was abandoned, but still looked incredibly new. He looked in there, figured out that it was abandoned, and right on the big brown couch stood robotic armor and a sword made out of steel. And Izuku thought to himself, I just gained this quirk. Okay, sorry about that. Just had a tiny interruption. But anyways, now where was I? Oh yeah. Izuku said to himself, well, I just gained my quirk now. Doesn't matter anyway. I have to train it. Make sure that I'll be good and make this quirk I have unmatchable. The next day, everyone just went on in the class and continued class like nothing ever happened. Except for Bakugo. Mainly because he hasn't slept well that night. He was thinking about all the wrong stuff he's been doing. Thinking to himself, you did it. Not the sludge villain. You, Bakugo, are the reason deku is gone. No. You're the reason that Midoriya is gone. And for the next 10 months, Bakugo has been training his quirk and also training himself with anger management issues. Well, he's been channeling his anger issues through anger management classes. Meanwhile, Izuku has been training his newfound quirk ever since he moved into the house. Of course, he also tidied it up a bit to make it seem more livable. And and also worked the job as well. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really add anything to the story, but anyway, he works a job to help pay for food in the house and the bills. But he didn't use the name Izuku Midoriya because in everybody's eyes, Izuku Midoriya is dead. So he instead wore a thick hoodie and some sweatpants along with some shades and a mask, like those normal masks that we now use every day. Anyways, he went under the code name Trevor for Jameson. And shortly after that, he scheduled an appointment to get his quirk named. As the quirk doctor called it, green light. Let me explain green light. With this quirk, Izuku is able to not only create anything with green light, making it able to travel at light speed, but also fuse himself and anything he touches with his green light, causing either him or the thing that he's touching move at light speed as well. He also made a few modifications to his robotic suit that he found. But then the UA entrance exam came along. And he was pumped for this. He's been training on his not only quirk but also his skills. And also his mind. So instead of feeling guilt, he feels zen and calm. And before they are about to go to destroy the robots, Ida was about to place his hand on Trevor's shoulder. But he quickly grabbed Ida's hand and said, "You have exactly 1 minute to explain why you wanted to put your hand on my shoulder." Ida said, "I just wanted to know why you brought a sword here." Izuku let go of Ida's hand and said, It's part of my... It's basically part of my quirk. And it helps me out a lot. Ida says, oh, I understand. The UA entrance exam begins, and Izuku fuses his legs with green light, right, and runs off destroying and kicking robots. Well, kicking and destroying robots. Izuku then sees the 0-point robot and was about to leave, but then saw Uraraka in trouble. He knew that he couldn't just leave her there. So Izuku ran up, jumped to the 0-point robot, drew his sword, fused it with green light, and cut the 0-point robot into tiny pieces, which then quickly fell to the floor as soon as Izuku went to the floor. Izuku seemed to have impressed everybody. Well, not Izuku, Trevor. And even the pro heroes rose at the little booth. Who all said, "What? That's insane. A kid who used a sword to cut down that massive robot into tiny pieces? That is extremely weird." Few weeks later, Izuku got the piece of mail that told him he was accepted into UA and enrolled in Class 1A. And Izuku still kept his normal disguise, which is a hood, some shades, and a mask. Sure enough, he gets to Class 1A. Uraraka thanks him for saving her life, and Trevor just says, "No need. It's a hero's job to save people." Bakugo looked at Trevor and said, "That's strange. What you said right there, sir, that kind of reminds me of someone I used to know." Izuku and Trevor just said in rebuttal, "Huh. I feel sorry for you." And that's where I'm gonna leave it off. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, boom, slap that like button across the face. Catch you in the next one, guys. Laters.